Okay, so what gear do you need to get started as a graphic designer? One of the benefits of being a graphic designer is you actually need a minimal amount of stuff to get up and running. The cool side benefit of this is that you can work from anywhere, an airport lounge to an office or on the beach. As long as you have the software and an internet connection, you're sorted. So if you're thinking of being a digital nomad, then this is probably a pretty good career choice for you. Hey kids, welcome to TP Tutorials. I'm Tashlentine, and on this channel I'm going to be teaching you how to become a designer starting from zero knowledge. Let's go. So you need yourself and some cool ideas. I personally like having a paper and pen handy because it's way faster for me scribbling out ideas than it is going to the computer straight away, because I find that when I'm on the computer I get really bogged down in perfectionism, and when you're at the concepting stage, that's just not necessary. You will also need a computer that is capable of handling the Adobe software, an internet connection, because you're going to need to download the software and fonts and all those kinds of things that you need to make things look pretty. You can get a free trial of Adobe for 30 days, I think, while you learn the ropes. It is an expensive program, but in my next video I will be telling you the main ones that you need in order to get started, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss that. Hold up, don't download any trials just yet. I think it might be a better use of your time and your resources to maybe watch some videos to start off with, so you can get an idea of where things are, so you can hit the ground running when you do download the software and you can actually start having a slightly better idea of how to use things. I'd also recommend doing the free trials for each software one at a time, so you can focus on leveling up your skill set on one thing at a time and getting the most out of your free trials, rather than splitting your time between 2 or 3 things and then getting overwhelmed and confused, because the interfaces on some of them are quite similar. Signing up for Pinterest, Dribbble and Behance, I will put links to those in the description below, because they are great places to meet other designers and to see what level other people are at, so you know what kind of level you need to strive to achieve yourself in order to get up the various rungs of this career ladder. And it's also an amazing place to find inspiration and ideas, and also to showcase your work when you have some. And it's a good idea generally in this business to keep an eye on the trends as well, so you don't get left behind. I personally don't really think too much of trends, because things date. When things are really on trend, they date very quickly as well. And to me, in my line of work anyway, and the types of things that I do, because I focus on branding, to me it's more important that a brand has longevity than fashion. But it's different for every different kind of designer out there, so it's up to you to make those choices yourself. But those are good places to find trends and all that stuff. It's good to get a web presence too, because when you start applying for jobs, people often find you through your social medias and through your Behance profiles and on Instagram and, all those different places. I have had so many emails from people who found my Behance when I completely forgot I even had it. And it's actually not that many people who have found my website, which is really annoying because I put so much more time and effort into my website than my Behance. But that seems to be where people find you. So I personally don't believe that your main focus should be your website when you're starting out, because it's not a good use of your time. Use something that's already there, that's already built, and just save yourself some time and money and headaches as well. Websites are an expense, and they're also a massive time suck when you have to buy the domain names and then do all the website design crap when you don't really know what you're doing. If you do decide that you want your own website, you will need a platform like Wix or WordPress or Squarespace, and a domain name from somewhere like GoDaddy. For ease of use, I would recommend Squarespace because they are so easy, but they are also the most expensive. I personally use Wix because at the time I couldn't afford Squarespace, and then I couldn't be bothered to move it. And I think that Wix are the most budget-friendly one. I'm sure there are plenty of other web hosting platforms, but Wix is the one that I use. WordPress is also another option. I've used that too. Years ago, it was a pain in the ass because you need to know some code, and the coding is not my thing. I think it's free. I think some variation of it is free. I seem to remember having to pay for something. I also had to buy an SSL certificate, which I wasn't expecting to have to buy, so that was another cost. So I think out of those three, WordPress would be the one that I recommend the least. If you know something about coding, then you're definitely at an advantage that I didn't have. But for, I think, average Joe, something like Squarespace or Wix would probably be a good bet. I will put links to all of these places down below so that you can check them out in your own time and then have a look and see which one you think will be best for you, if any of them. There are always arguments for and against owning your own domain and your own little corner of the internet, but if you're just starting out and you don't have a lot of money, I just don't think it's necessary. When I was hiring freelancers, I found them through Behance, and I only went on their websites in order to get their contact info to see if they were available for an interview. Another thing that isn't necessary is a graphics tablet, which is what this thing is. I love mine. I have a Wacom. It's a Wacom something. Wait a minute. Intuos. Mine's a really cheap one, actually. The designers that I work with laughed at me for using this because they had the big, fancy, expensive ones, and I just didn't felt like I need it. I'm happy with what I've got. It's, you know, small and portable, just like me. But I would be totally lost without it. It saves my hand because I have RSI quite badly from time to time and it flares up. But if you're just starting out and you're trying to figure out if design is your jam, I wouldn't invest in one right away because they start at about 60 quid. So maybe if you fancy treating yourself or having it as a birthday present or something, then yeah, go for it. But it's a cost that you don't need right at the very beginning. And I get incredibly tired of hearing YouTubers call stuff affordable and budget. Like, an affordable entry-level DSLR is 600 quid that they've been sent for free in exchange for a promo, and I'm like, yeah, that's not affordable for a lot of people who are working full-time jobs, pal. Forget kids and students. So I'm not going to recommend things and tell you to spend your money on stuff that I genuinely don't believe you need right away. So a graphics tablet definitely makes life a little easier, but if you can't afford one or don't want to invest straight up, you can get by just fine using your mouse or your trackpad. A smartphone and a gooseneck stand thing is helpful if you're designing apps and icons, but again, this is for later in your career, it's not a right now problem. If you wear glasses, like I do, I recommend getting a blue light filter put on them. I love these things. I look like such a grandma and it just makes my heart happy. But I would recommend getting a blue light filter on that and an anti-glare thingy on it. And looking up how to care for your eyes, because I have given myself eye strain several times scrolling through stock websites and looking for images and fonts for a brand, and I swear my sight has got so much worse since becoming a designer, so be aware of that. Look after your eyes, you only get 2 of them. Optional extras. Black t-shirt. Don't own a black t-shirt. Plaid shirt. Big glasses and a tattoo, because designers need to look cool, right? I would say facial hair, but I can't do that yet. Maybe in 20 years time I'll start pushing some out. I draw the limit there. I'm not going to Sharpie my face. I'm not that invested in YouTube. God, I hate these glasses. Ugh. I am not cool. I have no intention of ever being cool, but it doesn't make me any less of a designer. I'm just going to put that one out there. If you're just coming to this video and you want to know a bit about my backstory as a designer and how I got started, check out my previous video, which I will link to here and on the end cards as well. Now, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and hit subscribe so you don't miss a video. Now, go and make something awesome.